Very good morning, students. Today's poem 2.2, The Sower, is by the famous French poet Victor Hugo, and the translation is done by an Indian poet, Torulata Dutt. So, in today's poem, we will be discussing about a very important topic, and we shall also be seeing the icebreakers, the explanation of the poem, brainstorming question answers, and the critical appreciation. Here is the activity. Here is the icebreakers. What are icebreakers? These are those small activities which give you an insight of the topic or the poem you're going to study, or the lesson or the chapter. So let us begin. The first one is make a list of words related to agriculture. So a few words are given here, such as farmer, the seeds, crop, plowing, sickle, then weeding, then you may have bullock carts, then you may have a field, fertilizers, etc. and etc. Okay, the second activity here is discuss the activities carried out by a farmer. If you have seen a farmer closely, you will understand these things here. The first is plowing, second is sowing, third one is irrigating, and fourth one is harvesting. These are the different activities carried out by a farmer in his field. Now next is, see here, it's given here one again. In our country, engineering, teaching, and medical fields are much sought after. Other professions, occupations, though they make a significant contribution to the society, do not get their due. Other than the professions, we are going to talk about such professions who should get more significance. They should get equal importance. So which are those? The first one is given as farmer. See, highly unpredictable economic gains. Okay, second is conservancy workers, high risk of health issues, unaware, lack of sanitation. These are those workers who work for the cleanliness of the city or that particular city or village. Next we have laborers. Laborers are those people who work for no fixed salary, season bound, and dangerous work. These are those people who are paid per hour. Okay, these people are those people who get paid per hour. Now let's see next one. Next is the housemate. Now you have seen housemates. Many of you must have housemates at your homes. They are paid low wages. They have no time bound, insecurity of workplaces. This is commonly seen that housemates are paid very less. There is no fixed salary for them, and there is no guarantee of work. You may have a housemate for 6 months, maybe 3 months, 1 month. There is no guarantee that that particular person, the lady or the person, will work again. Then we have the street vendors. These people are those who sell things on the streets, maybe plastic things, maybe fruits, maybe vegetables. Many things are there. So there also they don't have any fixed pay, and the people loot them. Loot them means we bargain with these people. We do not know the condition and we start bargaining for 1 rupee. People, I have seen people fighting over 1 rupee. Okay, so next is second one. Agriculture is the backbone of the Indian economy. Fill in the boxes supporting this statement. Now this particular statement, we have to prove that this particular statement is true. Okay, one is done for you. A large part of Indian population is involved in agriculture. That is fairly true. 80% of Indians do agriculture. Okay, then the next is India's entire population depends every day on food, fruits, milk, vegetables, crops, and etc. These things are fall in the section of agriculture. Then look here. Indians can survive without other necessities, but without food it is impossible for us. We will not be able to live. We can live without the internet, we can live without TV, we can even survive without electricity, transportation, all those things, but we cannot survive without food. The next here is the physiography and the climate is favorable to do farming and boost the economy. Okay, this is also one particular main reason. Now let's move to the information of the poets. Today we are going to study about a poem which is related with the farmers. Now India, not just in India, I can say the entire world, farming started over 100 centuries ago. Yet farmers do not have those importance. We don't give those importance to the farmers which should be given to them. In India, 80% of the population is involved alone in farming. To give a brief introduction of today's poem, I can say that, do you know which is the most difficult job in the world or difficult business in the world? Which is the business which has the highest percentage of risk than any other business, such as you can do marketing, or there are other professions such as the profession of doctors, the profession of police, the profession of engineers, teachers. There are so many professions, but which is the most dangerous profession in this world, which does not have any guarantee, and the risk put is also very higher risk than the investors or the bankers which they put risk. The risk level is more higher than that. The answer to it is the business of farming or the job of farming is that type of work or that type of business which is at loss at all the times. Mostly it does not get its recognition, and yet people tend to do farming. This particular profession has the highest risk form. We live because of the farmers who toil day and night in their farms, yet they don't get that recognition. So let us see the first poet. The first poet today here is Victor Hugo. Now this particular poet, he was a French romantic writer. Though regarded in France as one of the country's greatest poet, he is better known for the novels as Notre Dame de Paris and Les Miserables. These two particular books by novels by this particular poet, novelist and dramatist Victor Hugo is quite notable. Now this particular poem, The Sower, is actually initially was written in French, but later it was translated into English by the Bengali poetess Torulata Dutt. So let us see a little information about this particular poet. A Bengali poet also known as Toru wrote in English and French. She was also the very first poet, Indian poetess who started writing in English and French. She translated dozens of poems and completed a novel before her death at the age of 21. Her poems such as Sita, Lotus and other Casaruna trees are well loved. It is also believed that this particular poem is one of the finest translations done by any Indian poetess in the in French language. So let us begin with the poem now. Now I'll read out the poem first. Okay. The Sower. Sitting in a porchway cool, sunlight I see dying fast. Twilight hastens on the rule. Working hours have well nigh passed. Shadows run across the land, but a sower lingers still. Old in rags, he patient stands. Looking on, I feel a thrill. Black and high, its silhouette dominates the furrows deep. Now to sow, the task is set. Soon shall come a time to reap. Marches he along the plain, to and fro, and scatters wide. From his hands the precious grain. Muse I, as I see him stride. Darkness deepens, fades the light. Now his gestures to mine eyes are august and strange. His height seems to touch the starry skies. Now let us see the explanation of this particular poem. The sower. Who is the sower? The action of sowing seeds. Okay, sowing seeds. And the person who sows this seed is known as the sower, that is the farmer. So see here, the first line, sitting in a porchway cool. Porchway here means a veranda, a type of veranda where you can sit. Okay, porchway cool, sunlight I see dying fast. Where is the poet? The poet is in his veranda. The veranda is that small place which is covered by shelter in front of your house or your building. Okay, the poet is sitting in his porchway and it is very cool, and sunlight, he sees the sunlight, it is dying fast. Dying fast means it is the sunlight is going away. And what is the time when the sunlight goes away? It is mostly during the times of the evenings. So he sees it is evening. Twilight hastens on to rule. Working hours have well nigh passed. Nigh here means the night. So twilight means that particular light which comes in after the day goes off means the evening light. So this particular poet is sitting in his porchway. It is very cool, and he sees sunlight is moving off, and evening is falling, and in that particular light he says that working hours have well nigh passed, means working hours are over. So the working hours are usually from the morning times to the evening times. For some people it is 9 to 5, for many it is 8 to 6. So this time, so the working hours are over now. Shadows run across the lands, but O sower lingers still. He says that shadows are running across the land. The meaning of this particular thing is that in the morning time, when you stand at a particular place, your shadow is quite close to you. But in the evening time, you imagine in the evening time, your shadow, it runs past you. Your shadow suddenly turn very large, and you can see that your shadow is such it is so huge that you can see your shadow running across everywhere. Okay, he says that shadows are running across the land, but a sower lingers still. A sower here means the farmer. He sees a farmer lingering around. Lingering means he's roaming there. Old in rags, he patient stands. Old means that particular sower is old, that farmer is old. In rags. In rag means the, what do you say, the condition of his clothes. His clothes worn by muddy clothes because of working in the farm. His clothes have turned into mud. Okay, they are old. Maybe they are torn off, they are worn off. Okay. He patient stands. He sees that everybody is going home, people are moving around, shadows are also moving around, but the sower is standing still. Where he may be standing, any the guess is that he must be standing in his farm. Okay, looking on, I feel a thrill. So the poet says that everybody is going home, people are moving home, working hours are over, so everything is going to end. But what is this particular person, this old age farmer, doing here, and why is he standing? So he feels a thrill in it, he feels excited about that. See here, black and high his silhouette. So this particular word is French word, and the pronunciation of this particular word is as silhouette. So dominates the furrows deep. So this particular farmer is actually preparing himself for doing the action of sowing seeds. Okay, so the furrows here are those deep trenches which are made while what is this, sowing seeds. He's digging the ground. Maybe he is using those tools to dig the grounds. Okay, he's plowing the ground. So he dominates the furrows deep. Dominate means he rules his land. Okay, now to sow the task is set. Soon shall come a time to reap. He says that his task, what is the task? His task is to sow the precious grains, his grains to be sown. This particular task is set. Now he's finished plowing the entire ground, his entire farm is plowed now. And now the next time, the next work, this task is to sow the seeds. Soon shall come a time to reap. It says that after this particular task, if I sow my seeds, the next task will be reaping the crops whichever will grow. Okay, so that particular time is going to soon, it's going to approach. Okay, that time is soon going to come. Marches he along the plain to and fro, and scatters wide from his hands the precious grain. So what is this particular poet sees? The poet sees that this particular sower or the farmer, he's marching along the plain. So see, this particular farmer is compared to directly to a soldier marching here. This marching word is compared to the marching of an army man, a soldier, because yes, this particular farmer is like a soldier, and the plain, that is his farm, is his battlefield. So he's going on a war. This is like a war. The farmer's work is at stake. It is a very risky job. Okay, it is like a war for him. And how is he moving across his plain? Means in his farm, in his battlefield, he's moving to and fro. And what work is doing? He's actually scattering something. He's scattering wide from his hands the precious grains. So he's scattering away the grain. If we have seen the farmers, the precision, the accuracy of their work is remarkable. They know exactly where and how much to sow. If a ordinary person like you and me go without any personal experience of this farming, it may happen that we do a lot of mistakes. But this particular people, these farmers, are experts in their work, and they exactly know at which places they have to pour more water, at which places they have to dig deep at which places they have to put these particular grains, at which places the grain should be more, at which places it should be less. So they know exactly where and how much to scatter the grains. Muse I as I see him stride. Now muse means he's thinking, this particular poet, he's excited and he's thinking and he's looking at his actions and he's excited about that. As I see him stride, stride means he's walking so skillfully over his farms and without any mistakes, without putting his leg on the either side, he's carefully walking over the plowed farm and he's putting his grains, he's scattering the grains carefully. Darkness deepens, fades the light. Now it is almost night. Okay, so the time when this particular farmer was working in his farm, that time was the evening. But now darkness deepens. Darkness deepens means the time is passing away very quickly, and it is almost night now. Okay, and the light is also started to fade. Now his gestures to mine eyes are august and strange his height. Now this particular gestures means the gestures of this particular farmer, suddenly it appears to be very large to this particular ordinary poet, are august. August here is the name of a particular saint, a saint whose work was very remarkable. Okay, so he's comparing this particular, for see, the first the poet compared the farmer to a army personnel, that is a soldier. Now he's comparing that work of that particular farmer to a saint. And yes, if you ask me personally, I think the work of the farmer is actually close to a saint, because their work is remarkable, their work is very divine. So he says that his gestures to mine eyes are august now. August means he feels that this work, the work of this particular farmer has suddenly turned for me divine for me, and strange his height seems to touch the starry skies. Now this is the core of the poem. If you understand these two lines, you will understand the entire poem. You will understand the depth of the poem. He says now the particular actions of the farmer suddenly have become huge for him. It has become so huge for him that he seems that this particular poet, this particular farmer's work is touching the starry skies. Here these two lines means that the work of this particular person, this farmer, is so great and we cannot understand it normally. We have to understand the hard work behind this, the risk behind this, and even have facing so many difficulties, so many problems in life, how this particular person is doing this work is divine. There are many problems faced by the farmer. If anybody in your family is a farmer, or if yourself are farmers, you know the risk of this particular job. Even if you have proper crops, there are many times that the crops may be damaged because of the rats, because of snakes, because of heavy rainfall, because of no rainfall, if the water is not there. So there are many risks in this particular job. Even if there is guarantee that you will have a nice crop, the crop should get proper price, that is also a big problem. So the work of this particular farmer is like an august. August means, here's the name, the august name here suggests that it's like the work of a saint. This particular work he is not doing for his family only, but many thousand families who live on his crops. And strange his height seems to touch the starry skies. So here the starry skies word here means the precious grains. Okay, so this is the explanation of the poem. Now we shall see into the brainstorming and the critical appreciation of the poem. Okay, now let us see the brainstorming of the following poem. The A1 activities, there are a number of challenges a farmer in India faces. Discuss with your friend how it is possible to improve the condition of the farmers. Okay, so I have solved this particular thing for you. If possible, try to bring out some own answers. Okay, see, the first one is the serial number, challenges given and solutions. The first one is done for you. Water scarcity, that is lack of water, this can be solved by rainwater harvesting, collecting water. Okay, the second is credit and indebtedness. The government, help from the government and NGO is required to give these people some time. Okay, the farmers they should give more time than the other people who take loans from the banks to cover up the crops. Okay, Next is land issues. The intervention of the revenue department is required here. If there are any land, property problems, there should be a separate department working only for the farmers itself. Next is the climatic changes. Now, what can the farmers do if there are climatic changes? There should be a separate way help the farmers by using modern technology to face the climatic changes, or either make them aware of the climatic changes, make them prepare for those particular changes. Social groups, people should encourage and help farmers financially to avoid crisis like situation, like the problem now we are facing the pandemic of coronavirus, and the farmers are the only people who haven't stopped their work. They are the only who are working. Apart from the doctors and the policemen, the farmers are also working in their own fields. Time has not stopped for them, so there is economic crisis for them. So how should people solve this? People should form social groups and help them, encourage them financially. Okay, then the next is lack of advanced technology. We should enrich them, educate them with modern methods and trending techniques. Now in India, a lot of people, educated people have started to come in the this particular work of farming. So these people should actually somehow bring this modern techniques global. They should educate other farmers too to use this particular techniques. Now, diversification, bringing together technology and different types of crops. So one particular farmer is usually always growing one particular type of crop or two types of crops, but with changing times, these farmers should also adapt themselves, and we should also guide these particular farmers to grow different types of crops which will avoid them in any crisis. Now, market risk. Yes, there are more market risks because every time the prices of a particular food item or a particular vegetable is always falling down. I haven't seen in a time that this particular price range is increasing. So there should be separate markets for these particular people, these particular farmers, and they should always be given the right amount for this particular thing. Now the next two is A2. In A2, we have the poet has observed the sower closely. Express in your own words the reverence the poet has for the sower. Now here we have to give your personal opinion. What changes or what does that sower? What you see in the particular sower? Now we see that the sower is a very old person. He's wearing old clothes, clothes which are mudded in mud, and he's continuously working. It is the evening time when all the people are going home. This person is working alone in his field. So this shows three qualities in him, which is hard work, perseverance, and dedication. These three things are seen closely in him. He feels that he should give his 100% in his work. So even after the twilight, that is even it is evening, this particular person is continuously working in his field. He thinks he should give his best, so very carefully and with very proper precautions and dedication, he is sowing those seeds. He's prepared prepared to face everything in his life. Now he's prepared to sow the seeds. He's also preparing himself for reaping the crops, and he's also preparing himself if there is any problem or any crisis like situation. So here we see the optimistic point of view, how optimistic this particular farmer is. He's dutifully completing his work. Here we see that his extra and continuous work is the reason why the poet revered the sower. Okay, now the next is A3. The poet is prompted to call the sower an august personality, which means one who has reached the highest position in his workplace. Explain this using the following points. 3 points are given to you. First is the hard work, then is the perseverance, and then the dedication. So let us explain this. Hard work. Yes, the particular sower is doing a lot of hard work in his field. He's working day and night. He does not care whether it is his work time is over or not. He's continuously working. Even when the work time is over, he's working after the clock hours. Okay, people like us work for the clock hours, 8 hours duty, 9 hour duty, but a farmer, he's continuously working in his field. He does not care about the time. Okay, so this hard work is equally seen in this. The farmer's work is really hard one. The way he works, the task he usually completes, and there is no time boundness to this particular work. So his hard work is clearly seen. it is a lot of hard work to plow one's field, then what do you say, with precision and properly sowing the seeds properly, then waiting for the right time, means that shows his patience. Okay, so next point here is perseverance. The farmer, while doing his work, faces many adversities of life. It may be too much of rain, no rain at all, or not gaining the proper sunlight, or not gaining the proper climate, or not having proper equipments. Okay, many a times wild animals, rodents such as the rats, destroy the crops. Many a times diseases are caught by the crops. So many a times these many problems can ruin the harvest what they have grown. But even if it requires a lot of attention and care, he tends to give it. Okay, this particular farmer, he's not thinking at all, he does not think at all whether I have to do extra or not. He's just doing his extra work because he knows that if he gives his extra work, he can finally reap the crops. Okay, he perseveres as if he works or he toils, then only he will be able to feed his family and us. The courage shown by him is remarkable. Now, the final point is dedication. Now, what level of dedication we see in this particular poem by the farmer? See, the farmer shows tremendous dedication which he works in his office. Now, his personal office is his farm, his field. Okay, his work is perfect and he strives always to perform the best. Okay, now people like us always try to do best for a day or a week. Okay, but this particular farmer, for him, his every day he should give his best, he should perform his best, and that is his compulsion. Okay, he's performing it truly. Okay, he faces many adversities, yet he accepts everything as a reward. Okay, he feels that whatever the adversity, I will face that particular adversity, and he looks at it like a chance. Okay, he looks at it as an opportunity. Okay, and this opportunity I can turn it upside down into a chance. Okay, there are many natural disasters and problems which may ruin his work, but yet with an optimistic point of view, he is continuing his work. He waters his farm field with his blood and sweat year after year, and reaps the crops for us and everybody. Okay, now see, the next is the A4. First one, pick out the examples of alliteration from the poem and write them down. Now, those two lines are, see here, the first alliteration line is, but a sower lingers still. See, but a sower lingers still. Okay, so this is the seems to touch the starry skies, and the last line here, which is seems to touch the starry skies. Here the S, alphabet S is repeated again. Okay, the consonant S is repeated many a times. Then the second one here, seems to touch the starry skies. The poet has used word imagery, describe the idea and pick out other similar examples from the poem. Okay, so we have to give other examples. So the other examples here are, sunlight I see dying fast, twilight hastens on the rule. The imagery created is one ruler dies, the next one comes to claim his place. Here the day is over and now night is eager to take over the light. There is symbolism which indicates the farmer's hard work, dedication and perseverance by day and night. And which is A5, write an critical appreciation of the poem considering the following points. Okay, so the points are given to you. First is about the poem. The poem Sower is a translation of a French poet, Victor Hugo, and the translation is done by Torulata Dutt. Okay, she's done the translation from French to English. Okay, now the poets, the first poet, the original poet is Victor Hugo, and the translation is done by Torulata Dutt. Now the poem's theme. The theme of the poem, see, the poem is dedicated to an optimistic farmer who is striving hard, tirelessly with great expectations of having a good harvest. He shows true perception in his assessment of scattering the precious grains and in his field. Means we can see that according to the theme, this theme is closely related to the hard work, the dedication, the perseverance of the farmer, and we see how perfectly he is in his work, and he is continuously doing his work. Okay, He has experienced many bad harvests in his life, yet he is hopeful and optimistic about his success. He is awaiting to grow a good harvest. He thinks that this particular farmer has faced many problems in his life, but instead of running away from these particular problems, he thinks no matter how bad the crop is or how bad the condition is in my life, and I will strive to do better. Okay, he sees that every bad what is saying action against him or a bad calamity or natural disaster is like an opportunity for him. He's bringing it into a chance. Okay, the next is the language. The language is simple, use of imagery is seen, hence he used a number of poetic devices. Now let us see the number of poetic devices which is used. He has not used, but he has used a few poetic devices, which the first is inversion. Sunlight I see dying fast. The order is wrong, as it should have been like I see sunlight dying fast. Then personification, sunlight dying fast in the lines and shadows run across. Here the animate attribute, that is the living attributes of dying, is given to the sunlight, and the action of running is given to the shadows. The next is alliteration. For the example of alliteration, we have working hours have well nigh passed. Here the consonant H is repeated more than once. Now next is the rhyming scheme. The rhyming scheme of the poem is AB AB. Let us see the special feature of the poem. The poem is allegorical poem. This particular type of poem showcases some moral values. There is hidden meaning behind the theme of the poem, and yes, even if the character of the farmers has been showcased such beautiful language, but it is put forth in a strong manner. Okay, the qualities of hard work, perseverance, dedication are showcased. It gives us an insight of the life of a farmer. Many of us think that the life of the farmer is very easy. You have to go, what do you say, they don't go to an office, they don't earn much, they don't take a risk in their life. It is completely false. There is no powerful jobs such as the farmers and the army people. These two people are very close to each other, because they are the people who not only they do not think about themselves, but they are always thinking of others. Okay, they are the soldiers are protecting us at the borders, and this particular people, the farmers, are feeding us, they are taking care of us, they are nurturing us from the country. So these two people have really great importance. So this particular poem gives you an insight, the life of the farmers, the hardships they face, the problems they face, the adversities they have to face, the risk they have in their life. Okay, so many things we come to know from this particular poem. Even being filled with hardships, he is optimistic in his life. The moral values. Now what are the moral values which you learn from this particular poem? See, the moral values you have that one should do hard work with a dedication and have perseverance and patience to overcome all the difficulties in life. We must be optimistic and ready to face all types of obstacles. This is what this poem has taught to you, or taught to us, that we should always be optimistic in our life. We should not be negative. If one small failure does not end the story, because the story is has to still continue. There will times will come in your life where you have to persevere more, you have to keep patience, you have to do more hard work, and you keep on doing it with an optimistic and positive outlook, and you will have success. Now the last is the opinion. What is your opinion about the poem? Your opinion of the poem can be, the poem was an interesting and I like it. I understand the hard and tough life of the farmer, and will try to be optimistic like him.